Welcome back to Actors Turn Directors on Eliciting the Best Performance from an Actor. Leonard Nimoy interview part two. I am reading from my Directors Guild of America sponsored book, Actors Turn Directors, which these interviews that I conducted helped me to learn and educate myself on eliciting the best performance from an actor and some other secrets of successful directing. The book is available on Amazon as a Kindle ebook, and I will pick up where I left off on the part one of the interview. Leonard, the movies you direct seem to have very strong themes. Leonard. Well, yes, I'm very much concerned with the thematic center of a film, why we are doing it, what we are saying, what it is about, not the plot. When I used to teach classes, this was a favorite concern of mine. I would try to teach actors that they should be concerned about what the film is about, not the plot. Don't tell me the plot. I know it's about a guy who holds up a liquor store and gets in trouble, and then he's on probation, and his father comes and says, there's just this little thing I want you to do for me, whatever. There's a plot. But what's it about thematically? What does it say about the human condition? What does it say about our human experience or non human experience? What does it say about us as a people? What does it say about us as a society? What does it say about family? What does it say about religion? What does it say about commerce? What does it say about art? What does it say? When a script is submitted to me, I am concerned about what it's about. Does it touch something in me that's larger than the plot? What does it illuminate for me? Question. How involved do you get in the scripts that you direct? Leonard, it depends on the circumstances. If the script is wonderful, I am the last to start making changes. The film, Funny About Love, written by Norman Steinberg, who wrote My Favorite Year, and David Franco, who wrote and directed Miami Rhapsody, required a lot of work, essentially because the script was too generous, which is the best way I can describe it. It was a very, very ambitious script. It was extremely full of anecdotes and events and characters. It was a full and rich and large endeavor that needed to be pared away to discover what was at its heart. Most of it was clarification process to get to the essence of what it was about and try to retain those things that helped give it a thematic center. On the Star Trek films, I was involved from scratch in the design of the two films that I directed and the one I produced. And I worked very closely with the writers, actually laying out the structure for the stories and everything. This was particularly the case on the two that I directed, Star Trek 3 and 4. In some cases, I was so specific that I would say, I need these two characters to go to a place where they do this. And these two characters need to go to a place where they have to do this kind of thing and experience this. And these two characters do this to this person. I was lucky enough that the writers, talented as they were able to find creative and wonderful, dramatic, or funny ways of executing what I had desired. Question. What about The Good Mother? Leonard. The Good Mother script was shot almost verbatim, with only a handful of word changes. Question. What about Holy Matrimony? Leonard, Holy Matrimony went through a development process. The two writers who were on the job when it first came to me took it the distance, and we got to the point where I thought we needed a different kind of eye, something a bit more streetwise, a little more cynical, a little bit more edgy in contemporary terms. So we brought in another writer. It was always a dangerous project and concept. It was about this girl who needed to revise her thinking about who she was and what her place was in the world. It was about her transformation and also her maturation. She had a childish fantasy view about how the world would work for her, and she comes across this 12-year-old child who is very wise. So they kind of switch roles. He becomes the adult for her, she becomes a child to learn from him. I found this an interesting dynamic. You learn things from making movies, and I had a fascinating time learning about the Hutterites. I spent time on their farms. The colony set that we built on a working wheat field, all of those colony buildings were specifically constructed by us, was built on a Hutterite pattern. The nature of the buildings and their placement was exactly like the farms in the area. Question: do you encourage the writer's involvement in the creative process once the script is written? Leonard, if I'm enjoying my relationship with the writer, I'm very happy to talk to the writer every day, to have conversation about the casting, to have conversations about the way a scene is played or whatever. It is entirely possible that we get into a diversion of vision about the way the thing is going and the way it is supposed to go, in which case it can become very unhappy collaboration, which I think is very destructive. So I'm just simply not ready to say I want the writer there or I don't want the writer there. I think the director has to make the picture, and if the director feels comfortable with or helped by the presence of the writer and they enjoy a great relationship, then by all means, I encourage the writer's participation. Many great movies were made by great relationships. There's no question about it. But if it comes to a difference of opinion, it's the director who has the final say. Question: do you recall what it was like to step on the set for the first time as a feature film director? Leonard: yeah, I remember the first day. I had a very peculiar situation, and I was naive about it. I was mistaken about the nature of the chemistry on the set when I started on the job. I was operating on the assumption that there would be a sense of camaraderie that would grow out of the idea that one of us actors is not going to direct the picture. And being one of our guys, he will therefore know us, help us, understand us, listen to us, and be responsive. That wasn't necessarily the case, unfortunately. I was shocked to discover that the actors were waiting to pass judgment. The attitude was not so much, oh great, here it comes. The attitude was, well, let's see what this is going to be. Question: how did you deal with that? Leonard: by being well prepared, solicitous, professional, and concerned, and by doing my job well. I really appreciate actors a lot, and I think they came to realize that this was not simply, I am the boss and I'm going to tell you how things are going to be done. For all these years, I've had a difference of opinion about the way You have been playing your character, and now I'm going to tell you what I think should be done with this character. When the actors discovered that I really was extremely prepared and I really was solicited and concerned and made room for their comfort within each scene, things smoothed out. Question: what do you mean? Room for their comfort. Leonard. Well, for me, as an actor, the worst kind of moment in an actor director relationship is one where you come onto the set with a certain sense of where the scene is structured, where the heart of the scene is, and you discover that because of the way the set had been designed, or because of where the camera is, or because of the staging of the scene, there is discomfort, and you are not able to deliver the tonality of the performance that you are trying to reach. And maybe you even come to agree with the director, but the director may, in some way, not be aware that he or she has created a design in which you cannot deliver those goods. So you get into this thing saying, gee, I am in this corner for the entire scene. I thought the character that I'm playing should be surrounding this other person. I should literally do circles around him or her, or whatever it is, or say, I can't do that because I'm trapped here because of the schedule or the set or the lights or because we don't have the room to move the camera, whatever. I'm just giving an extreme example of how I think that a director who has had acting experience and understands the nature of that problem can be helpful to an actor in finding a way out of that dilemma, particularly when you get into a situation where, for one reason or another, there has not been a rehearsal before the staging of the scene, and the actor arrives on the set and it's lit, camera ready, and the scene has been pre staged in a way that traps the actor. So, whenever it is humanly possible, I think it is extremely advisable to rehearse with your cast and all the key elements present so the actor has his or her room for comfort and is not trapped by conditions that stifle their creative impulses and the freedom to express their best work. This brings to an end the Leonard Nimoy interview part two. If you found this information valuable, please like, share, and subscribe. I will be returning very soon with the third part of the Leonard Nimoy interview, which I consider a PhD in actor director relationship. And I enjoyed tremendously the privilege of having interviewed Mr. Nimoy, the late Mr. Nimoy, which now makes this interview a historic document. Again, thank you for tuning in. God bless.